In this video, we're going to be talking about my experiences with physical abuse and harassment. But in order to do that, I'm gonna need you to live my life a little bit. So, back in middle school, I was one of those nerds who would essentially sit alone at lunch. And that's what I did for the first few weeks of middle school. But then I walked in one afternoon for lunch and saw that all the tables had been taken, but there was one table that only had 2 other people at it. So I figured I'd go sit with them. And so I walked up, introduced myself, and asked if I could sit down. They both said yes. And so I sat down, and one of the things I used to do at lunch while eating is I would read one of my books. And at the time, I had a Star Wars encyclopedia. And so I was reading that, and, the kid, right in front of me kind of leaned over, and he was like, "Is that Han Solo?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's Han Solo." And so, we got to talking, and then, that talking turned into a little bit more over time, and we became friends. Now, it wasn't really a problem in the beginning, but as the years went on, it just kind of got worse. He would hit me and my friends, but he would kind of play it off as like in a joking way, and he's like, "What? Am I not allowed to have some fun with my friends?" But like even just a slap on, the shoulder, it wasn't just like that. It was more like that. And, it really hurt. So, because I was me, and I didn't want to get in the way of anything, I didn't say anything for a long time. But as the years got on, it got worse and worse and worse. Until about 2021, when COVID-19 hit. And at that point, I didn't even have a cell phone yet. Unlike I do now. So for a good while, I actually lost contact with everyone until I came across an old note that had one of my other friends' phone numbers on it. Logan's actually. We're still friends to this day. And so, I called him up, and we just kind of continued up where we left off, and it was amazing. And we started meeting back up again and stuff. And then I started getting back together with Matthew and continued off as normal. But those years since COVID-19, it's been particularly bad. I was starting to have bruises in spots of my body. I had been shot with BB guns and pellet rifles. Even though he was told not to shoot anything in the house, he just kept hitting me. And I finally spoke out and said, "Hey, I don't know if it's because I'm skinny, but this is really hurting me. So I would appreciate if you just took it easier." And he's like, all right. But he didn't. For the past years, it's been the same thing over and over again. "Hey, will you not hit me so hard?" Yeah. And he just kept hitting me hard. And it was getting to the point where every time I got done hanging out with him, I would just come home and be upset that, he had treated me the way he treated me. And I would just come home angrier and angrier. And mind you, I'm not an angry person. It's fairly hard for me to get angry, but I would just keep getting more and more upset because of him. But then, one night while hanging out at his house, I had a disagreement with him. But even though he always talked about gay people, not in a bad way, but he just kind of disrespected them. And it sounded like he just didn't treat them like human beings. He essentially doesn't think they're human beings, and that they're really weird. And I disagreed with them. I think they're people too. They are pretty much the same as us. They are the same as us. So, I asked him, what would you do if I came out as gay? And he replied that he would slowly kind of put me off to the side until we weren't friends anymore, because he wouldn't want to be friends with someone who's gay. And it was at that moment I realized that's not a true friend. If I really was gay, then a good friend would support me all the way through. But he would choose to lose a 10-year friendship over that. And so when I got home, I let him know that I was upset. And I stopped talking to him, saying I just didn't want to be friends with him because he was not being a true friend. And I was just so tired of the physical abuse as well. But, eventually we came to a point where he was like, let's not talk for a week. And then after a week goes by, meet up somewhere and see what we can do about the situation. And because I'm me, and I have a heart, I was just kind of like, fine. Just kind of whatever. But another thing that may as well bring to the context is that he would try to bring everyone to pin it on me, acting like it was my fault that I didn't want to be friends with him. Luckily, I rang everyone up and told them, when I first decided I didn't want to be friends with them, I rang everyone up. I told them, hey, so this just happened. At this point, I don't think I want to be friends with Matthew, but he is going to call you, and he is going to bother you. And he's probably going to tell you a false side of the story. So I figured that I would give you a call or text and let you know what's going on. And as I predicted, he did. He called one of my friends at work and gave a false side of the story, of course. But that was before all that. But I eventually said, we'll meet up in a week and discuss the situation. And so I made it a plan to go by his house a week later on Sunday and we would talk about it. But I think it was actually on a Thursday night. It might have been a Friday night. I think it was a Thursday night. I had gotten a text from my sister saying, "Hey, Matthew is bothering me." And so then she sent me a screenshot, and I'll actually go ahead and show you it. But I will blur names for privacy, but I can tell you whose is whose. Essentially, he was thinking twice about me. Thinking that there was something wrong with me. After seeing that, I got really upset. And so, I saved the screenshot and headed over to his house, in which I had actually been warned that was probably a bad idea. But I wasn't gonna wait to end our friendship, and I certainly wasn't going to do it over text. It needed to be in person, man to man. When I got to his house, I made sure to start recording, just in case if he did try to falsify anything to anyone, or, call the cops and saying I was harassing him or something like that. So, I will show you the full unedited clip, and I will blur his face for privacy, but that's about the least amount of respect he's getting from me. But here's that video. Can I talk to you?
First, I'm talking to you.
Let's get away from the kids.
Right over here.
Those people can hear us. You mean over by the street?
Yeah, right over there to the right. You brought everybody else into the middle of the fight. Even Logan said.
First of all, I brought no one into the fight. In fact, you brought everyone into the fight. You went calling Logan during work and saying, "Oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself because Corey's doing this."
No, I did not say kill myself. No, I didn't. I said I'm tired of this shit.
No, you said you were thinking about suicide.
No, I wasn't. No,
you were, and I have the proof.
Motherfricker, I did not think about suicide. And I am 100% sure. Because I was talking to my therapist that day in a phone call. And I have the proof by the emails.
You didn't leave it. You say it's me who brought everyone into it, but before you even reached out to anyone, I let Logan know, I let everyone know, hey, this just happened, Matthew's gonna try and get a hold of you. And you did. You went and you got a hold of Logan. And then today,
your sister is mad at you.
Today you went to my sister. You went to my sister.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to her.
Talking about me. I saw it. Thinking twice about me? This is over a tiny deal? No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
What, are you gay?
No, I'm not gay. but I support people who are gay, so I'm here to tell you some words. I'm here to tell you a sentence. We're done. From this point forward, I am not your friend anymore. And this really sucks because we've been friends for 10 years. But because you've been stupid again.
Ain't listening to this shit.
We're done, Matthew.
It's gonna be your loss.
I'm fine with that. After he went inside, I went back and retrieved my bike, as I had left it over with the other bikes on the bike rack from the apartment complex. And I figured instead of just riding away, I would just walk it, away. And so I proceeded to. And unfortunately, I didn't get this next part on clip. But his mom came out and started yelling at me, saying that I was a rotten kid, a spoiled brat, and a bad friend. And loads more things. And then he came out and started yelling the same things, even after he had told me I was bringing everyone into it. No. And then he told me that he would expose my face and everything, in which hasn't happened yet. But either way, it's not a big deal. The face reveal is on October 1st. He didn't know that at the time. And that's the last time since I've seen him. But I've actually been harassed online. He's been sending me rude texts. And, with the texts, I was just like, whatever. And, I'm kind of the douchebag for just not blocking him straight away. Still haven't. I think I will. But then he started saying stuff in the comment section of my YouTube videos. And he then crossed the line there. Basically telling me I was disloyal. Hold on, I've got the screenshots on my phone. Or at least a screenshot. In one of my videos, he just commented karma. And then he commented on another one the other day, just saying disloyal. And honestly, I don't care anymore. Because you just learn to accept he's not going to change. And you move on. He just wasn't a good friend. To this day, for I think 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I have no bruises on my body, except for one. But that was just something kind of my own doing. I hurt myself. Not intentional, I just fell off or something. But how did I deal with that? After coming home from that night, confronting him, telling him we weren't friends, I found a sense of peace and calmness. Kind of like in the eye of a storm. And yeah, I do get pretty upset, when I see he's commented on something. But he has no power over me. Because I haven't done anything wrong. He's the one in the wrong. And I found that I'm really happy now. Or I guess happier. That I don't have to deal with that physical abuse anymore. All the hitting, slapping, being knocked on the back of the head, being dragged on the floor, getting smacked in the face. I don't have to deal with that anymore. And no one should deal with that. So I think the best way to go about it, if you're just getting out of a situation like that, just block them immediately. And remember, they don't have any control over you. You're not the one in the wrong, they are. And they're not gonna see that. Even years later, you know, if they try to come back to you, I wouldn't recommend it. Because for those kind of people, it's hard to change. So just be you. Go and rock the world by storm. Go show the world what you can do. But I think that's all I've got to say for this video. If you would subscribe or like the video, I would really appreciate that. If you've had a similar experience, leave it down in the comments below. I'm sure other people than me will comfort you. If you've watched the video all the way through, thank you. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I hope you guys have a good day or good night, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye. Bye bye.